All right, everybody, class is beginning. Are we all here for Art 104 Intro to Mixed Media? Awesome. So there should be a sign-in sheet going around the class. If you could just sign your name at the beginning of every class, that would be great. Hopefully all of you have grabbed a syllabus from the front of the room. And I thought today we could kind of have just a chill intro day. We'll go over the syllabus, some course expectations, materials, stuff like that, the grading policy, and then I thought we could do a little exercise in our sketchbooks. Awesome. Okay. Everybody's in the right place? Okay, great. So Art 104, or Intro to Mixed Media, is really an experimental class. It's for you to experiment with a bunch of different mediums to see what sort of art processes you will like to adopt into your own practice. I am here merely as a guiding hand. I'll be setting up a little bit of structure for you, but if there's any medium, any sort of project that you want to work on, definitely come talk to me about it, and I would love to incorporate that into your year. Alright, so let's go over the syllabus. So on the first page, you have my email, you have my work phone, my cell phone in case of emergencies, as well as my office hours. Please take advantage of the office hours. This studio will be open, I think from 8 to 10 every day. So if you want to come in to use the drawing boards, you are absolutely welcome to do so. So since this course is fulfilling a humanities requirement for non-majors, I want to set up expectations up front. I know an art class can be daunting if you haven't had an art class before, or if it's been a while. That is totally okay. The grading policy is going to be based on your own progress, and I really don't want to compare people's abilities. This class is really about your own personal growth. So as long as you're putting in effort, and I see that you're putting in the time outside of class into your projects, you're all going to do just fine. We will have in-class critiques, but since there are some majors as well as non-majors in this class, I want to make sure everyone is treated with respect, regardless of ability brought into this room. Okay, so let's just keep it constructive. All right, so your learning objectives are going to be master basic art handling skills. So what does that mean? It means we're going to do some charcoal work. It means we're going to do some graphite, some ink, some watercolor, acrylic, and wrap up the semester with some oil. Consider composition, space, textures, and value within your artwork. Envision how different methods of applying mixed media can interpret a subject. Explore the expressive nature of mixed media. Recognize historical and contemporary practices of mixed media in the context of illustration and fine art. So we will be doing some lessons on influential artists in whatever media we're exploring. Unfortunately, in this class, we are not going to be exploring digital painting and illustration. I am teaching a class in the spring semester for digital painting, so I hope those of you who are interested in that will be able to take it. Okay, so let's go over some requirements. I expect that you're going to complete your projects in the time frame that I give you. And I know that it can be daunting to finish a task in a week or 2 weeks or however long. At the beginning of the semester, we will start with a long project. And then as the semester picks up, as you get more comfortable working outside class and your schedules firm up, I'll start to tighten up those deadlines a little bit. I really want to push all of you to be able to submit work that is ready for critique. Sometimes if the deadline is too long, we tend to overthink and overwork our pieces, okay? So if you have any sort of trouble meeting a deadline, please come to my office hours or send me an email and we can figure out some sort of solution. But I do really need you to be in communication with me, okay? It is really important that we're all participating in class critique and discussions. If I give you an in-class exercise, I will be putting some ambient music, some Animal Crossing music, Studio Ghibli, whatever you want to listen to, but for in-class exercises, I would prefer if we don't use headphones. Unless you have an accommodation, then definitely let me know. But I really want us to be able to interact and talk to each other, and I want you to form relationships with your peers in the class. So there will be designated work periods where you can bring in your headphones and listen to your own music. But for stuff like in-class sketchbook exercises, I would prefer if you listen to some music that I'm going to put on and chat with your peers. Alright, so let's get into some fun stuff with the course materials. I will be providing a lot of the materials that I'm going to talk about here, and anything that you want to add supplementarily, then you're absolutely welcome to do so. I also never want financial troubles to stand in the way of you expressing your vision. So if there's something that you really want for a project and you're unable to buy for yourself, please get in contact with me and we can definitely work something out. Okay? Okay, great. So the first thing that's really going to be the core of your progress in this class, your workhorse piece, is going to be your sketchbook. So it's going to be up to all of you what sketchbook you're going to use for the semester. My favorite sketchbooks are spiral bound. This one is sketch paper. If you are looking for paper that can handle more wet media, I would suggest either a mixed media or a watercolor sketchbook. I like spiral bound because it can lay flat on the table, but if you prefer a spine, if you want toned paper, white paper, whatever is going to make you feel inspired and creative and comfortable as well. Size-wise, I'm very flexible as well. So this is a 9x12. I like a 9x12 because it allows for a lot of different compositions on a page if you're doing thumbnails of a project you're working on. But sometimes a tiny sketchbook is less daunting. So you can definitely explore using smaller sketchbooks. This one is really, really teeny tiny. I think it's, like, I have no idea of the actual dimensions of this, but it's probably like, I don't know, 4 by 6, something like that. So I would just really love for you to have your semester sketchbook by next class. Okay? I do have a few of these Strathmore toned tan 9x12s. If this is your sketchbook of choice, then you can absolutely grab one. You will also need a pad of 11 by 14 Bristol board. So I have this Strathmore Series 300 vellum surface Bristol board, so it has a little bit of texture for all of you. But if you prefer a smooth Bristol board, a toned Bristol board, I would love for you to have both white and a toned if you would like to work on toned. But I will be using Bristol board for ink, for our colored pencil, all sorts of fun stuff. So the Bristol boards will be in the general studio under our Art 104 little corner. So all of these supplies that I am mentioning today will be available in the general art studio. If you haven't been there yet, it's on the second floor of this building. There are little art stations that you can claim for the semester. There should be, I think, 50 or 60 individual stations. So definitely, if you are really serious about taking a lot of art classes, you might want to reserve a spot now before they fill up. You will need a pair of good scissors for our collage segment. I will have scissors for you here, but if you want scissors that are extra sharp, I do recommend getting your own. I will be providing all of you with a T-square. A T-square is a really, really useful tool for squaring off your paper, making margins. We're probably going to have at least 1.5 inch margin on most of our finished projects. So these are also going to be in the general art studio, and I will have one for each of you with your name on it. Please grab one after class. I will be providing you with a range of graphite and charcoal pencils, but if you want to supplement the ones I provide you with extra hardnesses, then you are absolutely welcome to do so. In case you don't know, graphite pencils and charcoal pencils have hardness ratings. So for graphite, B, anything with a B included is going to be a little bit on the softer side. You can create darker values with softer pencils. So they go from B all the way to 8B. So 8B pencils are going to be really, really, really soft. Get those really jet black, almost shiny graphite effects. And then on the other side, we have H pencils. H stands for hard. And so, like it says, this lead is going to be on the harder side. So I like a harder pencil for doing initial sketches because I can really make light lines that will erase quite easily. So as a recommendation, I do recommend having a range of like 2, 4, and 6B and like a 2, 4, and 6H. I will be giving each of you 3 pencils, 3 varying B's and 3 varying H's. If you want to supplement that with more hardnesses, you can absolutely do so. Colored pencils are also great for sketching. I do really enjoy the Prismacolor Colorase pencils for doing sketches. It helps me differentiate different lines I'm making, especially if I'm using a grid when working in perspective. Each of you will receive a red and a blue, but again, if you want to supplement with your own colors, please feel free to do so. Softer colored pencils, true colored pencils, these are the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils, which are a little bit bougie, but these are really nice and soft, and you can create some really beautiful blended effects with softer colored pencils. So I will have a range of Prismacolors that will stay in this room that you are all welcome to use. And if you want recommendations on colors to get for your desired subject, definitely come see me. I will also be giving each of you a pencil sharpener. Now you don't want to sharpen your charcoal pencils in this pencil sharpener. This is for harder graphite, and the Colorase pencils are fine in here. But anything softer, I'm going to require you to have an X-Acto blade and sandpaper to sharpen. This is my little tin I like to keep my erasers in. The 2 kinds of erasers you will need for this class are a General's gum eraser and it doesn't have to be General's, I guess. This is just General's brand, but a gum eraser and a kneaded eraser. As you can see, the kneaded eraser is really, really soft and pliable. You can break it apart, you can roll it, you can mold it into shapes, you can get a really nice fine point on it. And the reason why I require both kinds of erasers is because they're great for different types of paper. So the kneaded eraser is going to be for your watercolor paper, your vellum Bristol board, anything that has texture on it that you want to preserve. The gum eraser will erase more than the kneaded eraser, but it is slightly more abrasive on a surface, so I wouldn't use this on something like watercolor paper, but for other things, I love this little guy. So each of you will get a kneaded eraser and a gum eraser. When we get into inking, I will provide all of you with your own little tub of Speedball ink for a dip pen. If you carry this in your pencil case, which I do suggest all of you get a pencil case, you're going to want to keep it either a plastic bag or some other type of container. I've had a couple too many spills with ink in my pencil cases, and it is devastating. As you can hear, it's pretty fluidy. So this is going to be really, really fun, and my goal with this unit is going to be to push all of you to increase the range of values that you're using in your pieces, as well as contrast, because you can get things that are super, super, super dark black with ink that you can't with pencil, even charcoal. To go along with our Speedball, I'm going to have you all using a dip pen. So the nib I will provide you is a Hunt 512, your kind of standard dip pen, and a little nib holder. Nothing too fancy. If you see, this dip pen has a point to it, and in fact it's 2 little tines. So the ink is stored in this reservoir right here, the hole in the middle, and then it flows out through those 2 tines. I don't know if you can see this, but when you press, the tines separate, and that is how the ink flows out. When you pick up your nib from the box in the General Art Studio, please make sure that the tines are not crossed, that they're not bent, because that will just make your life a whole lot easier. I will also be giving you a range of Sharpies to work on. I love Sharpies. Sharpies are great in a sketchbook. Just be careful of bleeding through the paper. Okay, what do you say? Okay, let's talk about our first assignment. So, it may be a little bit cliche, but for your first assignment, I would like you to interpret a pair of shoes. Can be any type of shoe. But make sure there's something a little interesting about the texture. So patent leather pumps, you could set up a really interesting light to capture the reflection. A wrinkly pair of old leather boots would be great. Any sort of old pair of shoes. I want you to go home and do a couple of iterations of a sketch of those shoes for me. So let me show you what I mean. So you're going to start with a general study of your shoe. Just observing some initial things about the shoe, observing the initial shapes, and don't worry about drawing fundamentals. This is really going to just try and loosen up your hand. So don't worry about getting proportions too correct. Just try to draw observationally to the best of your ability. We'll be going over interpreting more complex forms into very simple forms like spheres, cylinders, cubes, all of that good stuff next week. So after you do your initial study of your shoe, I would like for you to arrange the shoes in a variety of ways and do some thumbnails. So zoom in, zoom out, have fun with composition, play with lighting and angles, and these are going to be really quick sketches, so nothing too crazy. Just just experimenting with arranging the shoes in different angles and compositions. Then on a sheet of tracing paper, I would like you to come up with a tight sketch of your shoe. Now, the reason we do this on tracing paper is so it can be transferred eventually onto your Bristol board, but we're not there yet. This is just for next week. So with a tight sketch, I'm going to want some more detail than you did with your thumbnails or even your initial study. All of this is not due by next class, by the way. I only want your initial study and your thumbnails by next class. This is just what we're working towards. And then I would like you to come up with some more expressive interpretations of your shoes. So I did this in Sharpie. And then all the way to something a little kookier, but still identifiable. So this is also done in Sharpie. But you can see the lines are almost a little scribbly, but they're still very intentional. So I would love to see your thought process. Working from your tight sketch to a more stylized interpretation, and then finally a a more abstracted version. You've heard, I'm sure, of the saying, learn a rule to break it. That is kind of what we are exploring with this first project. Your final two drawings, your final drawings, your tight sketch, your first expressive composition, and then your more abstracted composition, those won't be due until the end of the month. So in the meantime, while we have these deadlines in mind, we're going to be doing exercises in class that are going to be helping you towards producing those final products. And then we will have our final critique on the 28th of the month. So that is the last class period we have of this month. Do you have any questions? I know we didn't really get into course materials for painting today, but I think I should let you go a little bit early so you can enjoy the rest of your day. Okay? Awesome. Alright, I'm excited to get started this semester, and I hope you are too. And I think I'm going to end class there today. Definitely enjoy the rest of your day. I think there is some free ice cream outside the dining hall, so I might pop over there myself and check it out. And I will see you all next class. Awesome. Have a great day, guys.